Hi, I'm Christina Linthicum from Team Discraft, and I'm about to show you what I'm going to have in my bag for the 2019 season. So I'm going to start with my putters. Firstly, right now I'm putting with the soft focus. I need a beaded putter. I also usually putt with the Jawbreaker focus, but right now in the winter, it's a little slick for me because I like that tacky feel on my putters. So when it starts getting hot again, which is soon, I'm going to actually switch back to my Jawbreaker because these do not hold up on summer heat. Well, any soft putter is just going to get kind of floppy on me for my taste. So I'm going to switch back to the Jawbreaker. I also use this for my upshots. It's pretty straight flying disc. It's got a little bit of fade at the end, but I'm also able to turn it if I want to. So unless I have if it's a headwind, I'm not going to typically reach for this, even though it can handle it okay under, say, if you're not like throwing it really hard. Just out of comfort's sake, I reach for my Challenger OS's because I just rely on them a little bit better in the wind. They're also beaded, but I also like to drive with these. I can do it any way I want. I can throw them perfectly straight. I can have them with the hyzer finish, or I can even turn them if I want. I have this Jawbreaker. Again, I love the Jawbreaker, and a rubber blend in my bag. This one I feel like is, the rubber blend I feel like is a little bit straighter and a little bit less stable, so that's why I have two of them, and I just reach for different ones at different times. One more putter that I carry down here is my Zone, ESP Zone. I think most people are familiar with the Zone. It's a very overstable putter, so I can always rely on this to finish to the right, for you to the left probably. I'm left-handed, so I also got this cool little logo on this. My logo, that's me. I'm all about shameless self-promotion. I can trust the Zone in the wind, so and also throw it around corners or whatnot. So I'm gonna move on to my mid-ranges. I don't carry very many mid-ranges like some people do. First off, I have this Buzz OS. It's overstable. I feel like to me, it's like a little bit longer zone. So if I need a overstable shot that can handle the wind, or even just an overstable shot that goes a little bit further, I'll reach for my Buzz instead of the Zone. Next off is my main mid-range, is the Z Wasp. This it's an overstable mid-range, but it's not quite as overstable as the Buzz OS, and I'm actually able to turn this when I want to, and I can throw it straight, and I can throw it in a wind and just get it to go perfectly straight. And it can go really far. I can easily break 300 with this, and so a lot of times I'll reach for this even instead of a driver. Next, if you follow me on social media, then you know how I feel about the Meteor. I love the Meteor. I've been throwing it for years, even before I was sponsored by Discraft. It's been one of my go-tos for a long time. As a lefty, it's come in handy a lot on those 200, 275 foot hyzer holes that you righties like so much. So I also use it for scrambling a lot. I can throw it stand still or get a patent pending shot and just throw it perfectly flat, and it's gonna ante out like I want it to. I can hit some great lines with this disc. Next, I also am carrying a Z Meteor. I'm not throwing it yet. It's kind of a backup, I guess. But Piper's Disc Emporium on Instagram drew on this for me, and it's a great nod to my nerdiness, and I love it, and it's beautiful. So I like to carry it anyway. Moving on to my fairways. First, I have this Raptor. It's Test Flight. I was a little bit straighter than I did when I first got it, but it's an overstable fairway. I can throw in a headwind, and I can throw it even with a little turn on it, or perfectly straight, and it's gonna keep a nice straight line and then hyzer at the end, or I can throw it on a hyzer and I can throw it for a skip shot. So it's a nice, reliable, overstable driver. Next, I have my ESP Vulture. It's another fairway. I like to call this my distance fairway. These go really far. It's a little bit stable, but I can throw it on a little bit of a turn, and I can throw it perfectly straight, and it's not gonna fade a whole lot at the end. Next, I have a Z Vulture, again with my little logo. So this one's even less stable than the ESP, and so I can throw it for a little bit of a turnover shot, and it's not gonna get too crazy and dump on me or anything. It's just gonna hold a nice long turn line. If I need something a little less stable than that, I turn to my Heat. So this is my understable fairway. This one's the ESP, and you have to release this one on a hyzer. It's pretty flippy. So that's what I do. I just let go on a hyzer and get a nice little hyzer flip that's gonna finish to the left. Moving on to my distance drivers. First off, I have 2Z Thrashers. This red one's a little bit lighter, and therefore it's less stable than my blue one. This thing goes really far. I can throw it just a hyzer flip disc. I've released on a hyzer, and I can pretty much easily break 400 with this disc. It just keeps going forever. If I need something that's gonna turn more, say if I need to hit some kind of ante line, then I'm gonna reach for this red one, and I'm gonna throw it either flat or on a hyzer, depending on the angle I'm needing it. Next are my forces. That is multiple. I carry 4 of them. I have 4 forces in my bag. So there are varying stabilities, and I'll start with the least stable first, is this Z-Glow force. It's pretty understable. I can throw it on a little bit of ante, and it's gonna hold that ante, and depending on the wind, it may not come back, but it's gonna go really, really far. So next is pretty much my go-to force. It's a Z-Force. It's a little bit more stable than my Glow. So it's gonna finish on a hyzer, but it's gonna get a nice flat or even turned over line depending on what I do. And it's gonna hold that line for a long time before it finally comes back at the end. So if I got a wind or if I need something that's gonna come back harder, then I reach for my ESP force. So it's the next one up in stability. And I always know what this disc is gonna do. It's always gonna come back no matter what the wind is, no matter what I do to it almost, it's gonna come back at the end. I also like to use this one for my big spike hyzers. So if I'm going around a tree way up high and I need to throw it a big hyzer, then I'm always gonna reach for this one. And then my most stable one I just got recently is this titanium force. So it's not getting the distance my other forces do, but it's gonna be a lot more stable, and sometimes that's what I need. It's gonna be a little bit further. It's gonna go further than, say, my Raptor. So that's all the discs I've got in my bag for this season. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, go to the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you.